So the importance of community development is around creating the process, so the way things are done. And that's really about trying to, again, have as many people involved as possible. And it doesn't have to be everybody, but it's creating opportunities for people of all skill levels and interests to be able to do something. And that can range from somebody to come and help set up the room to make some tea, to somebody actually standing alongside of you when you are facilitating meetings and help you so that they can learn some skills. And what that can show in your community is that you're actually wanting to involve everybody, and it gets them to build up their capacity so that long term, when you want to have a break and as a leader retire, there's actually people within the community who've already identified that they can do that job, and they've got the competence to be able to do that. Meetings take place not only so you can share information, but it's also a requirement. If you're an incorporated association, whether you're seeking external funding or just to meet your, your requirements, you're meant to meet regularly with your committee, and you're actually meant to arrange an annual general meeting at least once a year. So it's important that you talk about how will that work. How do we best use that time? Because if you get those things right, you will actually have more time to do the really important stuff, which is, provide the support and for the communities that, in terms of what they've identified. There's good meetings and bad meetings, and all you have to do is, you can even do a fun role play within your community and get them to demonstrate to you what's a bad meeting. And by doing that, you can actually raise attention to any perhaps behaviours that might be taking place.
As a leadership group, you've got 3 different streams of support to be a leader. You've got the rules that you've got to organise the organisation by, which includes in it a clear statement of what the vision is for the organisation. You've got your membership group that if you lose contact with them, you probably won't be there and the organisation probably won't be there. And you've got a whole lot of outside support like councils, other interested bodies, other groups that are in the same sort of area. If you look at and make a conscious understanding that the world keeps changing, what suits today, if you start thinking forward 5 years out, you don't have to have a detailed list of this is what we're going to be in 5 years, just a feel for what's it likely to be like in 5 years' time.
Traditional project management gets quite complex for the average person, and how do you make it work so that everyone can get with it and make it work in their own situation is where this all got to. But project success is best defined as satisfaction in the eyes of the key stakeholders. The key aspect of project management is communication, so that, and we say that communication is the toughest part of the business, and it is. So it's also about finding what communication methods work in your situation, and they'll be different from group to group, person to person. These are our learning objectives. You learning how to define a project, which is fundamentally what you all want to do, developing the project plan, relevant to the area you're working in. Some of you work in much higher demand areas than others, administering and monitoring the project, and then finalising the project and then reviewing it and seeing what lessons learnt and what you can carry forward to the future. Project management was traditionally focused on hard outcomes like a physical building or an IT process, but what soft system methodology does is look at the soft side of the project, that is the human, the emotional, the intangible, the unspoken. Most of you will be really needing risk management in that you'll be in, if you're running a project, it has risk, but for a lot of you, the risks mightn't be that clear, and how to sort of address those risks, identify them and prioritise them will be pretty, in a fundamental, simple way, and I've got a tool for that as well, will be quite important. And that's the big thing about project planning and projecting, and we're talking here about project management. It's about you are projecting into the future to identify a problem and solve it before it gets to you or before you get there in time. So you're projecting, you're almost a prophet, okay? You're looking ahead, and you're looking, and you as a team are saying, oh, that is over there, maybe 6 months away or a week away. If we don't address that, by the time we get there, we'll be done. There are very good examples of project successes which were project management failures, such as Sydney Opera House went over time and over budget, but it's obviously an icon for Sydney and created great value for Sydney. And there's other projects which are lemmings, which if I take the case of, say, in Banda Aceh after the tsunami, where they brought in European houses and they didn't put in the right orientation and they didn't fix up the hygiene, and so no one would occupy them. So they're project management successes, on time, on cost, but no one would occupy them, so they didn't have value to the stakeholders.
When we look at this, in terms of the Olympic, there are a lot of work that people put in making that day a success. A lot of work. So have anyone thought of what is involved? Olympic is a fantastic day. The open ceremony is fantastic. You see all this nice, performances, stage work, and a lot of things, in terms of planning an event, what it takes in planning the opening ceremony of an Olympic. One of the things that picture will say is, where are you going to hold the event, the venue? It's very, very important. Does the venue, can you accommodate the number of people that you want to attend the event? And does it have the structure, the style? Because every event is different, So you want to ensure that the venue that you are actually selecting is appropriate to your event.
Put forward a convincing case about why the funding is needed and why you as an organisation, generally you'll be applying on behalf of an organisation, why you're best placed to deliver it. Generally, you're going to basically address the following things: the what, who, where, when, and why. Most applications, in some form or another, and the questions might be worded differently, will cover those issues. So what are you going to do and how will you do it? So being really clear about what you're trying to achieve, being very clear about your overall goal or your key objectives as for the project, and being very specific about how it's going to be delivered. Describing the attendant activities in terms of how many times, the type of activities that you're going to deliver, the location, where are they going to happen. Sometimes that might be particularly relevant. You don't need to say the building it will happen in, but you might need to say in what geographical location they're going to occur. What role are you going to play as an organisation in the delivery of the program? And also what might be the role of partners? Often you'll be developing projects in partnership with other organisations, so what role are they going to play? Being clear about the differing responsibilities.
If you're intending to get further grants though, it's really important after you've run the successful program, and that's part of the fun bit I suppose. It's a hard bit getting the grant. Once you're into the program and you're getting results and you're doing the right things and it's all happening and moving along smoothly, the next stage, when you've finished your grant, is to complete the acquittal. And the acquittal is really important in terms of letting the grant people know that you've spent the money how you intended it, and the outcomes from the program are the way that, you know, that they were expecting, and you got value for money for what you did.
Some people are conditioned to believe that conflict is bad. You know, most of the discussions we had were like all about negative or the bad side of conflict. You know, in our workplaces, we see this a lot. That, you know, one person disagrees with another. And that disagreement causes something better. Some people say it's wrong to argue or disagree. Conflict in and of itself isn't bad. What is bad is how people manage it.